Due to a rise in cheap, easy to use malware, cyber criminals are able to steal your cryptocurrency directly from your crypto wallet. ZDNet's Danny Palmer is here to tell us about how this is happening.
Well, as you say, cryptocurrency is becoming more and more popular, and cryptocurrency has value. We've seen how much Bitcoin can go up and down, but people are interested in the rise in Bitcoin prices. One Bitcoin can be tens of thousands of dollars, $50,000, $60,000. So people are very interested in this market, and when there's value on in something online, it's never very long before cyber criminals are looking for it. And of course, Bitcoin is something that has regularly been used by cyber criminals over the last few years. Now, it's used as currency on underground forums alongside other forms of cryptocurrency. And Bitcoin and other forms of cryptocurrency are often used as the payment or the extortion demand in ransomware attacks. But with the rise in individual interest in cryptocurrencies, it's providing opportunities for attackers to steal from individual people as well. Now, people might not have loads of Bitcoin, but if you can steal one or two Bitcoin from a few dozen people, that's going to be quite a lot of money building up. And as this research has shown, there's now malware which is almost designed entirely to go after cryptocurrency in this way. The example given in the paper shows that if you want a 1 month subscription to this malware, it costs you $150. If you want a lifetime subscription, it's $800. And for someone who's serious about stealing cryptocurrency, they can probably make that back in just one attack. And it's one of those things where when cryptocurrency is stolen, it's hard to get it back. So it's become something that's a real problem for individuals as well as businesses, because obviously we've seen lots of stories about crypto exchanges being compromised and millions of dollars being stolen. But it's even coming down to the lower levels now where individuals are becoming targets of this, and it's becoming quite problematic for them because it's never nice when something gets stolen from you, especially if it's something like Bitcoin, which can be difficult to get back at all.
Cryptocurrency is still relatively new. Does the industry have the necessary tools it needs to combat this problem?
It's sort of both yes and no, because there are crypto exchanges which do take a lot of this very seriously, apply stringent security tools to their platforms. Although we've seen, on the other hand, there are plenty of crypto exchanges where it seems security has not been quite in mind, and criminals have been able to make off with millions of dollars or get into people's accounts and steal cryptocurrency. At an individual level, it might be the case that you can, some people might not know about the security that is needed in order to make this work properly. It's like any other account, really, where people who are in the know will store their accounts, their money in secure places, with secure things to make it less vulnerable to attack. While there are others who might not know how to keep these things secure. They think, oh, this Bitcoin thing sounds good. I'm going to get in on that. Get a few $1,000s worth of it, and then not really secure it properly, which is when these sort of attacks can happen. I mean, one of the attacks mentioned in the report basically involves attacks where malware is installed on the computer, which is specifically designed to go after crypto wallets, because essentially what it does is when the person is making the pasting their crypto wallets, where they want to transfer the funds to, the attackers will sneakily put their own crypto wallet address in where it's being sent. And by the time you've noticed, the attackers have made off the money. And as I mentioned, it's very difficult to get Bitcoin and cryptocurrency back, because due to the nature of it and how it can be quite anonymized, it's difficult to say, hey, that is my Bitcoin. It gets tumbled along with other various sources, and you might not be able to see it again, which is another reason why it's so popular to attack. Because if you were to try and steal money from a bank, for example, even if you were to try and steal it online rather than walk into a bank with a gun, doing it online, you can say, hey, that's my money that was taken. Because for example, a couple of years ago, I had an instance where I got an alert saying someone's tried to use your card details in South America. Was this you? it was not me, because that's 4,500 miles away and somewhere I'd never been. But even if that had been used, the bank would have been able to say, well, if I'd say to the bank, hey, this is not me, I can prove I was not in South America, it's likely, I would have got that money returned. Obviously, I would have had the case where, my details would have been stolen, and dealing with that stuff. But with Bitcoin, it is trickier to solve it in that way, which it adds another layer of complication to this whole build up of cryptocurrency. It's obviously got uses for a lot of people, but if you don't know how to use it correctly, you can find yourself disadvantaged and your wallet disappearing.
Yeah, and that's going to lead me to my last question. What do crypto users need to do to keep their wallets safe?
In many cases, it's like how you try and keep other accounts secure. Things like using multi-factor authentication when you can apply it to your the account you use to manage your crypto wallets online, because that's an extra barrier to prevent attacks. Making sure you use a complex password, maybe even using an email address that isn't associated with any other of your accounts, because that will help provide an extra barrier. If your email does get compromised, attackers can't use your email address and password reset in order to try and get into the accounts. Of course, there's the offline methods to try and keep your cryptocurrency secure as well. You can you can store it offline, almost in the plug-in devices to your computer, and keep it safe that way. And of course, it is good to also apply the other techniques as well. Or in that case, if you are using that, storing it on a USB or something like that, or a hard drive, you're going to want to make sure you know where that hard drive is, because there's a story which been going around for years here in the UK, where a guy in South Wales somehow managed to throw out a hard drive full of Bitcoin, and it's somewhere in a rubbish dump somewhere, but he doesn't know where, and he's been looking for it for years. And that's potentially tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions, depending on how much the Bitcoin value is. That's somewhere under the ground. So if you're going to keep your crypto wallets secure offline, the important thing is make sure you know where that is and keep it safe, because it's all very well and good keeping it safe from online criminals, but if you lose it yourself, you're also losing it. So there's a happy medium in there somewhere, but it's just good to use common sense for these things. As with many things in cybersecurity and keeping your finances safe, it's good to use common sense in this, and hopefully that can keep your finances, no matter what they are, safe.
Hearing that story always makes me cringe. I can't imagine accidentally throwing out all of that money, or what he must be feeling knowing that that is what has happened. Danny, thank you so much for breaking this down. As always, we have links down below to Danny's written stories about this. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stick with ZDNet for all things cybersecurity.